Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dyer Lycaos, and this is a follow-up video to further discuss the data we are seeing in the 2024 presidential race. Now, I am highlighting key swing state data that I have. Further data is expected to become available as things progress. Now, before we begin, let me briefly go over what are bullet ballots. So, in the previous video, I called them non-down ballot votes. So what this means is generally you vote presidential in one way and either the opposite for local positions or you leave them blank. That would be a bullet ballot. So these are normally a very low percentage of overall votes for any candidate. Traditionally less than 1% of votes cast for a candidate are bullet ballots. So let's talk about current data for key swing states. And let's look at how those bullet ballot counts turn out. First, we're going to look at Arizona. So, Arizona currently is leading in somewhere around 1.712 million votes over Harris with 1.527 million votes. He is winning by around 185,000 votes. Now, here's what's interesting. At least, and here's the data we have for the amount of bullet ballots in Arizona, he has at least 123,000 bullet ballots. As I said, he's winning by 185,000 votes currently. So this statistic means that at least 7% of his votes in Arizona are just bullet ballot. Let's look at Nevada. So we go to Nevada here. We see Trump has somewhere around 748,000 votes. He is leading over Harris with around 47,000 votes. Now, the reports I'm getting is that 43,000 votes in Nevada are bullet ballots just for Trump. That's a statistic of around 5.7% of his votes in Nevada are bullet ballots. Interesting. Let's look at Wisconsin. So, Trump has around 1.697 million votes. He's leading by around 29,000, maybe a little more for Harris. And what is interesting is at least 30,000 votes for Trump are bullet ballots. 1.7% of his votes are bullet ballots in Wisconsin. Now, let's take a look at Michigan. Michigan, where are you hiding? Here. So, Michigan, 2.804 million votes for Trump. He's leading over Harris with around, I think, 80,000 votes. The bullet ballot count we have in Michigan is 123,000 votes. Just bullet ballots for Trump. That's 4.3% of his overall vote. Just bullet ballots. Now, let's do a comparison to some other states in the U.S. that are not swing states. We're going to look at Idaho. So, statistics for Trump in Idaho is he has 2,400 bullet ballots. Comes out to somewhere around 0.3% of his total counts in Idaho are bullet ballots. Oregon, wherever Oregon is hiding. Here we are. Trump has 4,320 bullet ballots just for him. That's somewhere around 0.5 or 0.5% in Oregon for bullet ballots. Now let's look at Utah. Utah, here we are. Utah, Trump has 991 bullet ballots just for him. That's 0.1%. So these are some very interesting statistics. So why would there be a noticeable difference in just the swing states? Why would his percentage of bullet ballots be so high in swing states? And as I said, a bullet ballot means that someone voted for president and then the rest of the ticket did not match, whether they left it blank or they voted a different party. So the reason I think we're seeing this in swing states, and the reason we should look into this further, is swing states win you elections. That's generally how you overcome your other rival party. All the other states are very cemented in their political positions, and these swing states generally swap between the states. And the margins between those two parties in swing states are generally very close. Just, 50,000 ballots in some states can change the election. And so the problem is Trump is getting far more bullet ballots in key swing states than across the rest of the country. Astronomically higher, statistically ridiculous number of bullet ballots. And this also conflicts historically with what you would see during an election. As I said, people are polarized. They vote their party often, many of the time. So, as I said in a previous video, I'll try and link it here, if you had the ability to manipulate the vote tabulators, which we use for our election, the safest way to do this would be to inject additional votes per county on top of the totals. This would prevent you from noticeably flipping local elected positions that do not match your party. And we would see some representation of this if this is what happens. So, in 6 swing states, we are specifically seeing that Democrats, their votes are matching up and down the ballot for elected positions. Yet Trump is still winning all 7 swing states because of these bullet ballot votes. I think that's an interesting discrepancy. So, question for you is, do we deserve a hand recount to verify that there's not some form of manipulation going on here? That additional votes got thrown in on top of the counts that only voted for Trump, which is highly suspicious because, as I said, people are very polarized. And we're seeing a statistically unreasonable amount of bullet ballots in key swing states. As I said, some of these non-swing states have less than 1% of bullet ballots to the totals. Key swing states, we're looking at over 5% in some of these important locations.